This is Sergeant Jose Perez kicking crud up while he's on the ground. This is a close-up picture of Sergeant Perez. And this is the takedown of Vaughn. And this part is all body cam footage. This is several months ago. It's the aftermath of a shooting involving Kevin Perez, the officer. He fired 14 shots at an armed robbery suspect, and one of those shots hit another Miami Beach officer. He was ultimately acquitted of any wrongdoing. Okay, now that's the end of the footage that wasn't included in the live stream. Now here's the part that was too small.
Getting to the elevator, you'll see Lieutenant Jose Reyna, who follows Mr. Crudup into the hotel, catching up to him at the hotel elevator. He holds him at gunpoint. Mr. Crudup,
unfortunately, I can't get this full screen.
Ground, and now his arms are outstretched in front of him. He then places his hands behind his back. As Lieutenant Reyna,
I think it's sideways for you guys, isn't it?
Placing Mr. Crudup in handcuffs. Other Miami Beach police
No, I guess not. It's just small.
And if you can stop just there. If you could roll back just a little bit, George. I'm sorry. Trying to catch it. It's very, as you can see, moves very slowly, so we're trying to. Okay, you'll see there, Officer Kevin Perez taking Mr. Crudup. We believe, as I said earlier, we just didn't catch it for you, that the handcuffs were already placed on him. You can hear it on another body-worn camera. Then you'll see, we believe this is so, Sergeant Jose Perez, and we're still with Kevin Perez. Go on to the next one. You see the slow motion replay there? Stop it right there, George. Can you see this? It took me several times. Can you see that action right there? Is that visible to all of you? Yes? Okay, good. Now what you'll see is about 15 seconds later, he is on the ground handcuffed. He's not really moving, but he is being held down. You saw the subsequent kick again by Sergeant Perez. And then we'll keep moving.
Hey, Ragamonkey, what's happening?
I don't know if you can catch that there. See that right there? So Sergeant Perez had, who again, who kicked him, had then, you'll see him come back around in just a second. Down on the ground there. That's after the body slam. Then you'll see them all sort of disperse. And then about 8 seconds later, while he's still on the ground, no longer moving again, it appears Sergeant Perez comes back. You'll see this right here, watch there. Did you see that kick there? There it is.
Now, see, this is the video that was sent by the security chief at the hotel to the police chief.
So for these actions,
which caused him to act so quickly.
Sergeant Jose Perez is being charged today. We then have Miami Beach Officer Kevin Perez, who's also, by the way, there's no relationship, as I understand it, like, between the two Perez's. Just coincidental, they both have a similar, same last name.
Okay, now what I was starting to say was the Sergeant Perez. When a guy snatched my phone, hit me in the face twice, he answered the call to try to make out the report.
You see the back there?
and
That's Officer.
he asked me what color was the guy who robbed me, and I told him he was black. And he says, well, you might as well not give me a description because they all look alike,
Then
don't
about
they?
5 seconds later, Officer Kevin pick him up, and again, I think we've done this already. Okay. So now, does that conclude this part of the videos? Okay. So now we're going to move on to the scenario involving victim Caleb Vaughn. So I don't know if you saw it earlier. I failed to point it out to you. But you'll see that, according to the video, Mr. Caleb Vaughn seems to be a bystander in the hotel lobby. And he appears to be standing approximately 12 to 15 feet away.
Yeah, Monkey, the
from
body
the
cam
apprehension of
was
Mr.
shown
Fletcher.
before you got here.
And Mr. Vaughn appears to begin filming the scene with his,
Body cam
looks like
footage
his cell
was
phone,
the first thing they showed.
at which point Officer Robert Sabater arrives on the scene approximately 30 seconds after Mr. Vaughn first began filming. Without incident, you see, go back to that again, please. George, roll that back. Yeah. So you see, we think the officer's here saying back up, and you're seeing him take about 4 steps back with his camera. Now you see Officer Sabater running in and tackling him there. Now, if you hold it right there, now what you see is, after he's tackled, this is actually, these are his shorts, and that's a fist right there. And watch what happens next. I'm sorry, but it's all we have. It's what it is. So if you could play that, George, please. Now what you see there is a series of punches in the back rib cage area or kidney area. It's on the back. You see that there?
I wish I could get this full screen so you guys could see it better.
So, because of those actions that you just saw, Miami Beach Police Officer Robert Sabater is being charged today. Now we have the body-worn camera video of Officer David Rivas, who appears to show Mr. Vaughn actively backing away from the Officer Rivas. Remember, you saw that initially? But nonetheless, Officer Sabater then pins Mr. Vaughn against the column. Well, approximately 12 seconds later, while he's being handcuffed, you can see from the videos, and we just went through this, Officer, roll that back again, that's Officer Rivas, thank you, who's repeatedly striking Mr. Vaughn, as I said, in the ribcage area, until he's ultimately brought to the ground. And so for this reason, for these actions, Miami Beach Police Officer David Rivas is being charged today. We then have the body-worn camera video of Officer Steven Serrano, where it appears to show that Mr. Vaughn is being cornered by several officers. And it appears to show he's being, Officer Serrano repeatedly striking Mr. Vaughn until he's ultimately brought to the ground. I think we just went through that as well. So, let me just say, you can see that there. The different videos of the same thing, so that's why it seems repetitive. Do you see it right there? Can you roll that back, George, please? For a second. No. We're doing this from another room, so that's why it seems to be not as well timed as we would like it to be. So let me just conclude by saying that the investigation into this incident, it is continuing. This was a week ago, and potentially other additional charges may be filed. But today, we know that the 5 officers, Sergeant Jose Perez, Officer Kevin Perez, Robert Sabater, and Officer David Rivas and Officer Steven Serrano are all being charged with battery. It's a first-degree misdemeanor. as determined by the present available evidence that we have right now. You can see by some other requirements that if you have any other questions about why not other charges, we're available to answer those. But at this point, I don't think we need to do that.
Okay, that's it. I'm not going to show the news conference part where Rundle and the chief spoke, but you got to see all the video that was too small blown in. Remember to like, share, subscribe, leave comments. It's Miami Beach Audits, and I'll see you on the next one.